You're now tuned into Radical Radio with Coach L.
Switch my attitude. I'm so radical. Switch my attitude. I'm so radical. Switch my attitude. I'm so radical. Switch my attitude. I'm so radical.
Radical Radio is designed to get to the heart of our guest stories. Oftentimes, you see people moving and they make it look so easy. Many don't know the story behind the journey, the heartache, the disappointment, the wins, or even the loss. What has it cost you? We are removing the stigma of judging a book by its cover and gaining perspective from our guests in the most radical way, in their own words. Testimonies are meant to be shared to help others move forward. That's the radical way, y'all. Let's go. You can't heal what's hidden, and you can't break chains you don't acknowledge. The word says the truth shall set you free. Be true to yourself and allow the plan that God has had for your life to live. That's radical, living unapologetically bold and purposely authentic. Stay tuned for the Radical Coaching Moment with Coach L. What's good, everybody? This is your girl, Coach L. You are tuned in with Radical Radio. What's good, my radical people? This is Radical Radio coming to you directly from Waukegan, Illinois. I am a certified life coach, certified spiritual life coach, and also the host of this awesome platform, Radical Radio. I am also a Kingdom Marketplace dealer where I bring to you radical eyewear and accessories. So I am your girl, Coach L. I want to thank you guys for rocking with Radical Radio this evening. It is time for your radical coaching moment. This segment, basically what I do is I just kind of ponder on some of the things that, I have gone through or experienced over the week, and I use it as a radical coaching moment. For those of you that do not know me, I believe that my coaching comes from a very transparent place, and I start with me first. I've gone through my journey of healing and growth. So in my coaching, that's how I utilize the same type of formula when I am coaching my clients. So the radical coaching moment of the day is all about being radical, all about being unique, all about being yourself, all about being the person that God has called you to be. Why? A lot of times I have to reiterate what radical is to me and what it means to this brand, because God has called me in a place that's different from what you may see. With that being said, there's a lot of people that are called to the pulpit, but I am called to the streets. God intended for my radicalness, my uniqueness to be able to touch those who may not be in the church, who may not know about the church, who may not have grown up in the church, who just want to be themselves and who want to be outside of the box, but still want to build a relationship with God. A lot of times, like for me, I grew up in church, right? So when you grow up in church, you learn how to be religious instead of being spiritual. What's up, Angela? Thank you for joining us. In my experience growing up in church, we went to church because we were told to go to church. I learned the things that I learned in church because it was repetition. So I knew a lot of the things that I knew because it's what I did every single Sunday, multiple times on Sunday from time to time, right? But what I have learned is there was a lot of things that I learned that I had to unlearn growing up in the church. There was a lot of judgment. There was a lot of ridicule. There were a lot of people that would turn their nose up at you. If you had on certain clothing, people would frown up at you. If you came to church smelling like liquor, people would frown at you, things like that. But I am called to a different space because I understand that there are people that come from all walks of life that still at any point of their life will come in contact with the notion that they want to build a relationship with God. But because of the stigmas that, you know, the churchy people have put out there, a lot of people don't feel comfortable coming to church. So there are a lot of people right now that are, you know, out here that really want to build a better relationship with God and don't feel worthy. So when I tell y'all, you know, my moniker is to, you know, be unapologetically bold and purposely authentic. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Reason being because a lot of times when you start to build a relationship with God and when you start to identify that there are some gifts and talents that He has given you that are to be used in this world, a lot of times because of how you felt or how you've been treated in the church or how you've been treated by church people per se, you don't feel comfortable in being the outside of the box person that God has called you to be. Hence radical. So with me, I struggled with it for a long time, but I'm not called to everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And even for myself, I have to unlearn a lot of things in order to be my authentic radical self. And I tell people this all the time. God has given me permission to be radical. So I don't care what nobody got to say. I'm going to do the things that God has called me to do in the way that He is allowing me to do it. So that means, like, real talk. There's people that, you know, have sold dope. There's people that have been prostitutes, hoes, you know, been promiscuous. There's people out here that, you know, have done some things that they might not be proud of. But I'm here to tell you right now that God can still use you. He will still use you, because one thing I know and two things I know for certain is that God is a God that knows your heart. He is not a judgmental God. He loves you in spite of anything that you could have possibly done. He still loves you and He's waiting on you to come to Him. So with that being said, that is the radical coaching moment of the day. I want to encourage y'all out there, no matter what you're doing, no matter what walk of life you come from, God can and will use you. He is only waiting for you to surrender and give your life to Him. And He will use you and He will allow you to be the person that you truly are. You won't have to put up no facade. You won't have to fake it. You won't have to be nobody, you know, because you feel like you got to be prim and proper and do things in proper ways. You don't have to do that, because God has a place for everybody. And at this point of the game, God is calling those that are radical. He's calling those that are unique. He is calling those that love Him in spite of everything to be yourself. You don't got to be churchy. You don't got to be a Bible thumper. You ain't got to spit out scripture after scripture after scripture. You just got to be you. And if you love God, hey, just continue to love God and allow Him to let you be who He has called you to be. That's the radical culture moment of the day. So I want to thank y'all for rocking with me. I have the most amazing guest that is coming. Our radical guest of the hour is Miss Robin Evette of Pillow Talk Podcast. She's so much more than that. So I'm going to go ahead and read her bio for you. Miss Robin E., a podcaster and media engineer from Waukegan, Illinois. She graduated from SIUC in 2016 with her bachelor's in broadcast journalism with a minor in electronic media. So broadcasting has always been a passion of Robin. She is the host and creator of Pillow Talk Podcast, a popular podcast in the Chicagoland and suburban areas. During 2020, she was able to reach international success in the UK with a listener growth of 400%. Y'all better come on now. 400%. Y'all heard what I said? She is a YouTube freelance writer, hood motivator. I love that. And Black culture enthusiast. I love that. She is also an account executive for an upcoming creative media agency in Chicago. A new app will be released later this month featuring Robin and some amazing women. And she is also the board member of the nonprofit organization called the Lake County Change Team, y'all. Lake County, stand up, man. We got Robin in the building. Thank you for coming on Radical Radio.
Yes, thank you so much, Miss Medina, for having me.
Yes, y'all better watch out. Come through with the mic one time. I absolutely love it. You are in your element. I love everything that you are doing. I love your spirit. Like, real talk. Like, it's hard to, see women coming together and being able to love on one another. Like, I didn't know you personally, but I would always make sure that I spoke, and, just I love the energy that exuded from you every time that I ran across you. So I'm so happy to have you here.
Yes, I'm happy to be here. I love your energy as well. From the first moment I met you, I feel like, right, we've just been intertwined on numerous occasions. And I just like, oh, Ladina, hey! Like,
I love it. I love it. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. First and foremost, just tell us about who Robin is.
Robin E is, of course, a podcaster, but yeah, social media influencer. I'm big on just providing freedom of expression on a variety of levels. I'm usually the type of person that gets along with multiple people, so I feel like I'm just very optimistic. I try to be positive. I can be stern, a little hard-headed, but you kind of need that when you're trying to manifest your purpose,
There you
so.
go.
I gotta, keep it pushing, but sometimes I feel like, I'm a little ahead of my time as far as other women or people my age, because I'm always thinking of the future. So I want to propel more into that realm as I continue forth. But yeah.
That's right. I love that. I say a lot of I'm a little older, for self.
Okay.
I say that, the young people are the ones, like, y'all are the ones that really can take things and really catapult in a way that's beyond the future. Like, I've watched so many young people, like, just really identify with their purpose. When I was your age, like, I didn't even know what my purpose was. To see you guys kind of like moving on purpose, it really does me joy, because it doesn't take all that, you know what I'm saying, to identify what you're supposed to do, what you love to do. It just takes some time for you to sit down and really identify with the very thing that you could do for the rest of your life, and you would do it for free, right?
Exactly.
So for you, like, you're in media, like, you have a degree. I didn't even know that. I learned that about you when you came and spoke to the youth build members, but I was so, like, taken back, because I'm like, dang, she, like, this is what she really really want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you're actually operating in it in multiple facets, like your work every day, going to work, your 9 to 5, you are doing what you love to do. Plus you are your own boss, you are doing what you love to do. Tell us about how you identified your purpose. When did you know, that this is where you wanted to be, this is the thing that you wanted to do?
Really, I've always wanted to do like talk show hosting of some sort. I loved like Ricky Lake and Oprah and Jenny Jones, back in the day. So I was like, I could do that, But I think once I got into college and I did like the River Region News for SIU, and it was a great experience, but the censorship that went with it and me having to kind of, dumb down the media or not be able to talk about things I wanted to talk about really deterred me to want to do something independent.
Right.
And then, luckily we live in a time where, you can make your own media. You're not necessarily going to get paid for it off bat, but you are able to produce it and distribute it. So once I graduated and started working in corporate, and I was just like, this is not for me. I still had that, creative bug, and I wanted to produce media that I wanted to put out, talk about things I wanted to talk about. And from that point, I just researched, figured out how I could do it on my own, and really started manifesting that. Once I began Pillow Talk, everything became about the media. And I was like, I can't even do anything else unless it's a relation to this purpose of mine. I don't want anything extra in my life that's going to deter me from this purpose, because this is it. This is it. And it's like, I don't know, when you just can't stop thinking about nothing else, when you're just constantly thinking of ways to pursue that, then this is where it's at. This is what you're supposed to be doing.
That's absolutely dope. That's it right there. Thank you, Ebony, for joining us. Thank you, Rita, for joining us. Thank you, ladies. So let's talk about Pillow Talk Podcast. How did you come up with the name Pillow Talk Podcast?
Well, I thought about it in college a long time ago, and initially it was going to be like a late night, talk show. But I'm not really the sultry type of woman. I was like, I don't want to just be here talking about nonsense. So I
Right.
kept the name, but my mind had kind of evolved from that idea, and it just catches people when they initially hear it. They're like, "Oh, what's that?
Right.
What are you talking about?" And then when they listen, they're like, "Oh, you really said something deep. You really was talking about something." So I just wanted to play on that idea to kind of pull people in, and then once they get in there, they're like, "Oh, this is nice. This is nice."
That's right. Now you've had so many people on your show, like you be, all in the shy, you be with it. You ain't, you ain't playing no games. How do you identify the people that you want to have on your podcast? Like what leads you to them?
Well, yeah, more so now. I think people have reached out to me more. I don't know. I guess just people that are consistent with what they're doing. Whenever somebody reaches out, I try to go back to the first project they did, the first album they did. Really try to see if they're true about what it is that they're pursuing.
Right.
And if I feel that it's genuine, if I feel like, they're really trying to get out there, I'm like, okay, we can work it out. You can come on and, we can do it. So I really try to find people that really know what they want to do and are putting in that work or been putting in that work for what it is that they're doing.
Right. I love that. Now let's talk a little bit about some of your titles. When you say you are a hood motivator like that, I was like, yes, honey, yes. Tell the people what a hood motivator is.
Oh, snap. Well, yeah, hood motivator. I like to give inspiration. I use the hood term because obviously I'm not a, innovational speaker, a motivational speaker. I don't go around doing it everywhere. It's kind of a spur of the moment type of thing. But I always like to give people optimistic ideologies, support, encouragement, remind people that they can do what they need to do, remind people they can lead people where they're at. Just kind of that friend that's always there on your shoulder, reminding you that you made the right choice. You made the right decision, So I like to split that in there in between, what I'm doing, just always reminding people that it's not going to be easy. Nobody ever said it was going to be easy, and keep pursuing it, keep doing what you're doing. People need a little push, every now and then without the fiasco, just a constant person giving them motivation. So that's why I come into play.
I love it. I love it. And you also coined yourself the Black culture enthusiast. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. First off, I love Black movies, Black film. I've seen a lot of films that are way before my time, but I'm always referencing depictions of Black film, Black TV shows, moments in time, and, relating that to modern day issues. And I feel like that's very important with Black enthusiasts. You have to remind people this ain't the first time, it ain't the last time. You have to always just push the culture, remind people that we are the blueprint, remind people of different significances that we've paid to the culture, just all of that. I'm proud to be Black, for one, you know what I'm saying, with all the struggles we go through. And I just always want to remind people how rich Black culture really is,
Yes. I love it. Keep doing it, sis, because we need to know. And a lot of people don't really stay in tune with like what we did before. Like we've done a whole lot. So keep doing that. I love that. So what has been like the biggest obstacle that you've had as an entrepreneur? What's the biggest obstacle?
Probably staying true to your craft. As you propel in entrepreneurship and you start to gain, a little bit of traction, people will try to make you conform. They will try to take pieces of your identity or, make you kind of change who you are for their benefit because they know that you need financial support and, you're looking for that next level. So I feel like as I propel, I have to stay very true to my craft, very true to my research capabilities. So whenever I'm put on the spot about something, I'm bam, 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 I know what it is. Because it's easy to get lost as you're going through the entrepreneurship. It's easy for you to feel like your ideas are bad or feel like you don't want to do it anymore. So you have to remain true to yourself, why you're doing what you're doing. That would probably be the hardest thing for me, just making sure I stay true to who I am as I'm doing what I'm doing.
Absolutely. I love it. How do you do that? Like, what do you do? What does Robin E do to make sure that I'm going to stay in my lane. Like, this is where I belong. I'm not going to veer off. Because I know as an entrepreneur, like you said, sometimes it's really easy. People, say, well, you might want to do this. And you start to think, your wheels start turning. As a creative, our wheels are always turning. What do you do to make sure that Robin E stays true to herself and her brand?
That's a good question, Ladina. What do I do? What do I do? Well, pray for one.
There we go.
I don't know. That's a good question. I guess anytime I'm approached with something and it feels uncomfortable, or, I'm kind of second guessing something, for me, that's a trigger that, I shouldn't do that. Or maybe I shouldn't pursue it if it's making me uneasy initially.
Right.
Listen to that gut feeling when it, you feel like something's off, or you might not work it out, or it might not be a benefit to you. Usually it's right. So I try to go with my gut feeling on situations, make sure I feel okay in the beginning. And if I'm uneasy about it, I won't do it. I won't even mess with it. Mm-mm.
Perfect. That is awesome. Yep. That's what we got to do, y'all. Because a lot of times our first mind is the right mind. When we get to second guessing and going back and forth and teeter tottering, it's like, it's so uncomfortable. Like, who wants to be uncomfortable and stressed out about just one little decision when you already made the decision in the first place? So it's like, come on, girl, let's get it together. You know what you got to do.
Exactly.
So that's good. I love that. Let's see. What is one topic that you think as a culture that we need to constantly have, that we need to continue to have, that we can never have enough of? What is one topic?
Definitely Black therapy. The mental state of Black culture as a whole, the different stages and signs of PTSD within Black people. I just think the whole mind state of how Black people deal with trauma is something we constantly have to talk about. I think that affects us in a lot of the ways that we maneuver with other people, how we propel through life. We're not able to love ourselves, love each other properly because we haven't dealt with things. Obviously, we've always been the underdogs in America, but we need to start pumping the love within ourselves amongst one another. So I think mental health, we can never not have enough of that. Never.
I love it. Yep, that's absolutely good. I love that. Now you are on the board of directors for the Lake County Change Team. I love the Lake County Change Team because it's young people, and y'all really came out the gate like busting. Y'all wasn't playing no games. Like, y'all did the Juneteenth event. Y'all made sure that y'all had different things that you did in the community, even in a pandemic. Why was it so important for you to make sure that you were a part of the Lake County Change Team?
Well, I would like to reference myself as more of like a foot soldier in terms of, the Black dynamic of helping our people. When I'm doing my podcast, it's more of a bubbly type of setting, but I want to make change within my community, and I don't need to be, in the glitz and cameras to do that. So for me, this was an opportunity really to implement change that I could see on the ground level. Yeah. And be able to say I was able to influence my community with these amazing other group of people, not just me by myself, me and these other amazing people. So I wanted to be a part of something bigger than myself that could make direct change, that I could see. So that was just really important to me to be a part of that. Definitely.
So when you talk about, let's go back, because Jerry did say how we deal with trauma is big. It really is. When you think about like the mind and how we need to shift, like how our minds as a Black community, as the community that we are, what are some of the things that we need to have complete mind shift of? Like, what are some of the thoughts that we've had, going in, just kind of growing up and things like that we may need to shift?
Well, I know for me growing up, I was very affected by consistent community events for kids that were kid appropriate, giveaways for kids, just things to bring the community together so you could know your neighbors, know your aldermen, know your people. Black people in politics is a very type of thing. And we get kind of construed because we don't know and we don't take the time to really know the ins and outs of that. So I would like for more Black people to start creating more resources within their community. We don't have to necessarily go through politics to get things done. It would just be good to know that. But really just bringing back that whole it takes a village to raise a child aspect. The gang impact is still a problem. Drugs are still a problem. And I still think a lot of that can be eradicated by having a stronger sense of community, being able to rely on your neighbor, or the people down the street so that you can feel safe, or if you're in need of something. So if we could stop this whole, what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours mentality, I think we as a people could start healing our community and providing more resources together.
That's it right there. That's dope. Like 100%. On the money, she hit it, because for real, like, I just feel like at this point we need to kind of like look at everything that's happening right now and understand that if we do not unite, like, we're gonna be in the same state. And that's the biggest thing for me right now. I feel like we all need to be united and we need to be a united front. It's no more crab in the barrel mentality. I don't want to help you because I feel like you're gonna get further than me and all of that. Like, I just feel like it's time for it's time for us to stop those things so that we can really be, I would say, examples for the young people, because right now we don't really have much to offer them. Let's just be real. You know what I'm saying? We don't really have too much to offer them. As far as like, it's like the culture is taking over more than the community. And we got to be able to shift that. Like you said, it takes a village. It really does take a village to raise a child. And if we could get back to the village and, not so much the finger pointing and judgment, when it comes to the young people, then we really can get somewhere with them. So I thank you for that. That was dope.
Yes.
Alicia says we first need to understand it's trauma and rid the mindset that it's a way of life. Quit accepting it. That's it right there. Like, you don't have to settle for nothing. Like, it's a lot that we can change within our own mindset if we just kind of take ourselves out of the box and just say, hey, we can do whatever it is that we put our mind to. Because as you said earlier, there's a lot of things that Black people have created and done first. And we just don't know, it's not taught to our kids in a regular fashion where they know, Black people invented this, I think we start there. So I thank you for that. Let's see. So what's one of the most memorable achievements that you have achieved as an entrepreneur, as a podcaster? Everything that you do, what's the most memorable achievement?
It's a good question. Let me see. Well, okay. So I had to think like for a second. My new job is one, but when I got nominated, I think Draz had the Black Excellence Awards last year. So I got nominated for that in the podcasting section. So I was very surprised because I had the newest show on the lineup. My show had only been a year, I think, running at that time. So I didn't even know everybody even knew who I was, at that point. But to get that type of recognition from your community, from peers, people that are older than you that do other types of things, it was a very like stamp of approval moment for me, definitely. Like, okay, so that was nice. That was really nice. Shout out to Draz. That was nice.
Shout out to Draz. He's bringing the Black Excellence Awards back. Shout out to you, bro. Come on with it. I really love that, because when you're an entrepreneur, like, do you have the feeling like, I didn't even know they was paying attention? Like, oh, okay. A lot of people don't understand, like, people be watching. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is an experience that you had where maybe somebody came in your DM and was like, hey, yo, I loved your show, or, when it's something that you experienced that you was just like, what? Like me?
What? Yes. I mean, that happens still, right? To this day, I'm always like, anytime people approach me, I'm always like, what? But I had probably when I don't know. That happens a lot. So I'm always shocked when people be like, "Oh, I want to be on the show." I'm trying to think of her name. I feel bad now that I don't remember it. I had someone that was on the show. I believe she was from Virginia. She was a singer, but yeah, she popped in a DM like, "Oh my God, I love your show. I want to get on the show and perform or at least interview, whatever." And I was just thinking like, how did you find me? Like what? How did you even find the show? It was like it's a real moment. So I was like, oh, okay. And she was down the stream and we had a great show. And her single is doing great. Ready for Love, I believe it's a single. But yeah, that was great. Anytime people from other states inbox me, I'm always like, how did you find me?
Right.
All the time.
But that's amazing because people do watch. I wanted to share, and get some insight on that part because a lot of people feel like, they're as an entrepreneur, it's like a thankless job. Like you just working and you working real hard and you putting all your, eggs in this basket. And you like, well, hey, I see people looking, but just understand as an entrepreneur, there are always people that are paying attention to what you're doing. And really kind of stand back and admire from afar most times. But it's always good when people do acknowledge and, jump in the DM or, just pull you to the side and say, hey, you're doing a good job. So, that's something that I want to encourage other entrepreneurs to understand. People do be paying attention. They be paying attention to what we're doing here. Okay.
Absolutely.
So you've kind of like did this on your own. You know what I'm saying? Like you hadn't really, had anybody push you out there. You kind of decided that, okay, I don't want to be put in a box. I want to do this on my own. You did the research. What would you be able to tell an up and coming podcaster, like someone that's, thinking about a podcast and they really don't know what if they got what it takes, or if they really don't know if like, oh, I'm a little nervous, I don't know if I want to jump out there, like what would be
Right.
some words of encouragement that you would have?
Well, for any aspiring podcaster, first and foremost, if you really want to do it, just do it. I know it seems basic, but right, the longer you teeter and totter on an idea, the more likely you're not to do it, really. If you have a solid name for your show, at least come up with a solid name. Just do it, just put it out there. Understand that you're not going to, be an overnight sensation and that this isn't going to go viral in 2 weeks. You just have to put the content out there and be genuine with what you're doing. So I feel like anybody that's wanting to take the leap, just really take it and don't be, afraid of criticism or afraid again if it's not something that just takes off immediately. A big part I think of successful podcasts is just continuously putting out content. So as long as you are consistent and genuine with what you're putting out, rock with it, rock with it.
Y'all heard it from Robin E right now. Y'all better plan procrastination in 2021. We got to get to it. If you got something that you want to work on and you're interested in doing your podcast, just go ahead and step out and leap and get it done. So you heard it from her first, y'all. Now, who is a person that you dreamed of interviewing? Like your dream interview, who would that be?
Oh, so many people. My dream interview, man, it's so many. Oprah a little extra, but it's still Oprah. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's still Oprah.
Right.
She was a big inspiration for me growing up. I did numerous book reports on her in high school. So I would need to interview her. I got a lot of questions for her, but I think that would be a good interview. Definitely.
Definitely would be a great interview. Auntie O, we need Auntie O to come on so you can get on Pillow Talk. We need you on Pillow Talk.
Come
Come
on,
on to the
Auntie.
front of the room.
Let me get on the favorite things list. Period. Let me get on the favorite things list, Oprah.
That part. So listen, an entrepreneur, everybody has a process that they have to go through. You kind of touched on it a little bit with the last question, like, it's not going to be overnight success. Everything doesn't happen overnight. What would you be able to say about how your process looked? Like, what was your process? I know for me, like, I had a lot of, bumps. It was a lot of things that happened. anything interesting, within the process of you becoming this entrepreneur that you are, or getting this new awesome job that you have? Anything that stood out that you was kind of like, okay, wait a minute, hold on.
Right. A lot of bumps in the road. I mean, yeah, when I started doing this, I was working like a pharmaceutical place, pharmaceutical company. So those are two completely different avenues. And I would find myself, doing my paperwork at work and then finding the ways how to make graphics for my show. So when I got off work, I'd go record and then edit and then post that night and then, do all the same thing over again. So it just got to a point where I was working on my podcast stuff all day at work and I was no longer doing work there. So I was like, okay, something got to give, because now I can't focus on whatever I'm doing. I gotta figure it out. So from that point, I just continued to really push it. I got the creative media agency job through Facebook because somebody posted it about someone looking for a job. And I just so happened to take a leap of faith, drove out to the city like, I'm gonna get this job. I don't know what they thought, but I'm gonna get it. And did the interview, and he was like, great, you're hired. So it was just another moment like, oh, like taking that leap of faith, like, dang, okay. So probably those two moments I was just like, okay, I'm going about it the right way.
That's amazing, because it's one thing to, kind of, and this is how you're kind of explaining it, like, you wasn't you wasn't working in your purpose at the time, just working for a pharmaceutical company. But then God has a way just to kind of line everything up where it's like, okay, everything gonna be purpose, 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 purpose. So now it's like every single day you get up, you're operating in the talent that you have. Like, it's right there. So that's a moment to encourage those that are listening. Like, listen, stick with your purpose. You can never, ever, 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 ever go wrong with purpose. If you know your purpose, stick with your purpose as much as you can. Don't waver from it. Stick with your purpose. Okay. So let's talk about like females in business. Females in business. Like, everybody feel like women cannot work together. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it is. But what is your take on females in this business, in entrepreneurship, just overall? What do you think about people saying things like women can't work together?
Baloney. No, I'm just kidding. No,
Right.
but it's baloney. I don't think that's true. I think really though, it depends about, again, somebody that knows their purpose, a woman that, hey, I'm about this. This is what I do. I'm ready to work. And when you are surrounded by women like that, how could y'all not be successful? How could y'all not propel to the next level? Women get a bad rep whenever they're stern, in the business field. But to me, that just means she know her stuff. That means she's on her business. So I feel like, how could you not admire someone that's diligent in what they do? I'm going to learn from you. I want to work with you. I want to grow with you. Teach me something. So that's how I feel about it. I don't mind working with other women that are about their business. I think it can be done, most definitely, when you're around those type of women, for sure.
That's it. Brittany says she prays that you can get an interview with Oprah one day.
We gonna pray, y'all.
Alicia said another learned behavior that we need to dish now, or we will never move forward as a whole. Man, listen, that is the most truest statement that anybody can say. Like, real talk, women can work together. And I think it does have a lot to do with your growth and whether or not you're comfortable in your own identity, whether or not you have the self-esteem that you need, your purpose. When you're like all over the place and you really don't know where you're going, then it's easier for you to kind of like be catty and
yeah, I agree,
say things that might not be right, or whatever the case may be. But I feel like exactly what you just said, Robin, is like, when you're around other women that's getting it, that know their purpose, that's okay within themselves, like, it ain't no reason to, what we fighting for. Let's go ahead and collaborate versus hate. Like, what you hate for? Like, there's no reason for that. And I do believe that women can. I believe that it's more power if we come together as women working together versus us trying to work against one another. Men do it all the time. Like they don't have a lot of emotion and they don't have a lot of all that going on. Like they can get it in. If they got a problem, they can say what's on their mind and get it all over with. They don't go home and harbor it and call their boys and well, some of them do, but you know,
no, I'm kidding.
you know, it's like totally different. You know, for guys, it's easier for them to work together. So I think if us as women, you know, come together and we have that same mentality where we're gonna get it regardless. Women, we need to come together. We need to, you know, really stand up because right now, like we it right now. You feel me? We it right now. Alicia said, I drop nuggets daily, especially to my sisters. Yes, that's extremely important. One of the best things for me to do is to pour into my sisters. Like, I don't care where you from. I don't care, you know, what you've been through. I just always find it a point to make sure that I pour into my sisters. I tell my sister, girl, you know, you doing your thing, you know, congratulating my sisters, encouraging my sisters, telling them to keep going, you know, telling them, I see you, girl, you look good today, you cute today, I like that lip, I like your hair, whatever the case may be. Like, women go through so many things, you know, whether it be taking care of kids, whether it be, you know, moving in, you know, your purpose, working. We already get knocked down on like in companies because we're women. A lot of people don't want to give us a fair shake. So I think it's important for us to continue to dig each other up and pour into each other as much as we can. Okay.
I agree.
So let's talk a little bit about what's next for Robin E. Like what you got going on? Like what's coming up in 2021? I know, you know, it's a new year, so we got some things moving and shaking. What you got going on?
Yeah, definitely a lot. Still, of course, doing Pillow Talk podcast. Interviews are still rolling out. I have more interviews coming this month. Doing some commercials, actually working on another show that I'll be premiering later this week. And it's just more of a simpler show, but now that I've created one show, I feel like I can create another show. So, you know, rolling out that show, getting that underway, working on this app for my job, and I'll be getting producing credits this year as far as newsworthy, you know, situations. So I'm just working on like boss lady status. You know, I just want to be behind the scenes and be like, cut, camera 2, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm used to being talent and all that. But when you get to produce, you know, when you get to really put the ins and outs, like I'm working on a script for it and everything. It's just like another moment of success to add that on your belt. Like I'm a producer, boo. Like I'm producing. So that's, you know.
I love that. I love it. See, this is why I love her, y'all. Like her energy. She just be like, look, I'm coming to get it all. Okay. I'm coming to get all that belongs to me. She gonna get it all. I love that you're doing you know, just extra, you know, on top of extra, on top of extra. I love that you have like so many hands in different baskets because it just shows the versatile, you know, of you. It shows that, you know, we could do whatever it is that we put our mind to. Okay. Anything that you want to do, it's nothing that you cannot do. Put your mind to it, you can get it done. So with 2021, was there anything that you decided that, you know what, I had enough of that in 2020, I'm throwing that away? Like anything that you threw away in 2020 that wasn't coming with you in 2021?
You leaving that behind. Let me see. What did I leave in 2020? That's a good question. You own it today with the questions, period. What did I leave in 2020? I don't know. I mean, I was working a lot in 2020 as well, and I stayed very diligent. Maybe I don't know. Probably accessibility. I think that's something I probably am going to leave a little bit. I'm very tunnel vision type of person, but when people need me, I try to be there. And sometimes it doesn't always work for my benefit, or they neglect that abuse, that accessibility to me. So I'm trying to just really weigh out importance, I guess, this year. You know, if it ain't something that's dire or whatever, I can't do it, bro. I can't do it. I think I mentioned that on the show, talking about, saying no sometimes. I need to bring that in to the year because I'm used to doing 1,000 things, but I need to do like 99 things this year. That's it.
That's it. I think I was talking to somebody today and I was saying, like, everybody can't have access to me.
Okay.
And, listen, y'all, real talk. And this just us talking. Everybody does not. I think my sister Jerry says it all the time. Like, everybody don't have a seat at my table.
Oh,
everybody can't come to dinner. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't come and eat with me. And it's very humble. I want y'all to get this. It's a humble experience because when you're, like Robin said, you don't really want to say no, and you always want to be there for people. Sometimes people can take advantage of that situation, or not even people taking advantage of the situation. Sometimes you can give yourself less because you're trying to give somebody else more. Ooh. Right? So a lot of times we have to, especially when you're in entrepreneurship and when you're trying to build a brand and when you're really trying to, live in the vision that you have, it's almost impossible to please everybody. It's almost impossible to be there for every single person. So sometimes you have to do an inventory and you have to say, like, okay, I have to pull my access from this person. Like, you're not going to be able to access me as often as you were able to access me. And I think it's a good way to move forward and elevate in your life and in what your dreams are. I think that's good.
Amen.
I think that's good, y'all. Real talk. Like, everybody don't have access. So I love that that's one of your things that you want to take in 2021. I want to, I just pray so much success for you. I pray that every opportunity that you are looking for opens and the doors will be open up where you can just walk on through. I am so proud of everything that you are doing. I thank you for your passion. I thank you for being just like a light, because you're a light everywhere you go. And I really appreciate that, because that's what we need to see. I love to see my young sisters just like operating and just being a light out here and bringing that positive, electric energy that I always see from you. So I thank you for joining us today. Can you tell people where they can find you?
Yes. So you guys can follow me on Facebook, Pillow Talk Podcast. You're more than welcome to like and share. I'm on YouTube, Robin Evette, and my Instagram, Pillow Talk Podcast as well. So I'm streaming everywhere, all major platforms. If you listen to podcasts, just search me. Ladina, thank you, because I love you, because you awesome.
I thank y'all. Listen, y'all got the platforms. Y'all got to go like, subscribe, hit them buttons, do everything y'all got to do for Robin E, because she is thebomb.com, and y'all already need to know she's going to be doing so much more. So y'all don't want to miss out, because I ain't going to miss out. So y'all don't want to miss out. So please make sure y'all go follow and like and subscribe to Pillow Talk Podcast. Yes. For you guys that are here, don't forget, we'll be back on Monday. This coming Monday, we'll have another guest. Until then, we will see you on Monday. I love you guys. Thank you for joining us.